Dear Taurus, brace yourself for a profound solidification, a strengthening unlike anything you or anyone has ever experienced. The divine is poised to shower you with abundance, and it's crucial to understand that the events unfolding in your life are not meant to instill fear, but to awaken the steadfast power that has always resided within you. A deep shift is on the horizon, not from external forces, but from the steadfast destiny taking form within you. You may sense a rumbling, as if the very foundations of your life are being reinforced, gathering energy just for you. This is no ordinary occurrence. It is a once-in-a-lifetime event, uniquely crafted for you, the anchor of the zodiac wheel, the first to grasp the essence of endurance. We will explore a revelation that is exclusively yours, a truth that has never before been experienced by anyone else. We will delve into why the divine is waiting for you at the end of your journey, not to pass judgment, but to present you with the abundance that you have rightfully earned. Finally, we will uncover a message from the sacred realm, one that can only be heard in moments of stillness and quiet reflection. Let's embark on this journey together, beginning at the heart of your transformation, where your soul quietly trembles in anticipation of what is about to be built. A disruption is approaching, but let me reassure you, it is not the end. Rather, it is a soul invitation to fortify yourself. Life will introduce certain elements that may seem destructive, but their true purpose is to reveal a more solid path you never envisioned. You stand at this pivotal threshold now, Taurus. Something is stirring within you, akin to a deep, subterranean shift. And while it may feel unsettling, it is essential to recognize that this is not punishment. Instead, it is an invitation to return to your true, grounded self. Many Taurians, particularly those in their 50s to 70s, have endured long years of bearing burdens, labor, and sacrifice. You have built foundations for others, remained silent in your toil, and let go of so much, all in the name of preserving peace and stability for your loved ones. Over time, you may have begun to feel depleted, as if you were left behind while the world around you changed at a dizzying pace. In those moments, you might have wondered if anyone truly sees your sacrifices. But dear one, this silence is not the end. It is merely the stillness that precedes a sacred reinforcement. Remember the wisdom of the ancient tree, which stands tall, not without roots that dig deep into the earth, enduring every storm. Similarly, in the Holy Bible, it is written that God uses trials to make our faith more steadfast. You were never meant to flee from darkness. Rather, you are called to stand firm within it and emerge with the strength that only those who have been tested can carry. Let me share a poignant story. There was a 65-year-old Taurus man who had spent his life building a family business. An economic crisis caused him to lose everything. Alone in his old workshop, with only silent tools for company, he began to sketch, not for a grand project, but simply to keep his hands from forgetting the feeling of creation. Those sketches turned into small wooden toys, simple gifts for the neighborhood children. He never returned to his former business life. Instead, he stepped into a new reality, becoming a craftsman who brought simple joy to others. If that collapse had never occurred, he reflected, he would never have discovered the peace in creating small things with his own hands. You see, not all losses are truly losses. Some are the universe's way of halting your progress, forcing you to look deep into the foundation of your soul, where you may have forgotten your own core values. And it is there that the sacred begins to take root. Taurus. You don't need to comprehend everything at this moment. The soul does not require logic. It simply needs you to pause and listen. Beneath the layers of time, you are still a beacon of stability. You are the keeper of a primal belief that loyalty has the power to heal, that patience is a form of strength, and that hard work is the pathway home. You have never been abandoned. You are simply being realigned, like the foundation of an ancient temple being fortified for a new era. Those vague feelings of anxiety, those nameless worries, and those moments when you feel the weight of the world on your shoulders, these are signs. They signify that your soul is breaking old ground, ready to build something new and stronger. You are not alone in this. Take a deep breath and gently ask yourself, if this is not the end, then what is it building toward? If you are still breathing, still feeling, and still capable of love, it means that this is not the conclusion. It is merely the beginning. You will come to understand why. For the first time in the history of the universe, a soul like yours is being called. Not because you possess greater strength than others, but because only you, with your steadfast heart, can build the doorway that millions have overlooked. Write this down. I am ready to build the true legacy of my soul. Sometimes, once you accept this truth, the door opens on its own, revealing the one you have been seeking, standing on the other side, waiting for you all along. The universe has chosen you, not because you are the strongest, but because your heart never gives up. No one else in this vast universe walks a path quite like yours, and it is no coincidence that you are still standing after everything you have endured. You have endured days where you felt like the sole provider, moments where you gave without receiving, and years where you silently persevered not out of weakness, but because you wished to create security for others. Your heart did not perish after the pain, it simply grew quieter, still beating steadily, like a solid foundation in the dark. You may not perceive it as miraculous, but in a world filled with chaos, a heart that remains loyal is indeed a miracle. You do not need to conform to anyone else's expectations or achieve extraordinary feats. If you still feel a sense of responsibility when someone is hurting, if your heart stirs at the sight of a garden in bloom, then you already carry something sacred within you. You are the vessel through which the universe has entrusted its last reserves of endurance for this world, and that alone makes you the chosen one. Consider this Venus, the planet of love and value, is currently aligning with Jupiter, the symbol of expansion and faith. This is a rare moment when the universe opens a doorway to miracles. Something is about to manifest, not because you exerted more effort, but because you are worthy, not by the world's standards, but by the divine's. Allow me to share the story of a 70-year-old Taurus woman who lived her whole life in a small house with a garden. Her days were monotonous cooking, tending to her plants, and lonely nights. One night, She dreamt of her late husband, who urged her, "You haven't enjoyed the fruits of your labor." Upon waking, she began teaching the neighborhood children how to plant seeds, not for fame, but to help them feel life sprouting from the earth. Eventually, her garden caught the attention of a local TV program, and months later, she became a beloved local icon for green living. Yet, she never spoke of success. She simply remarked, "When I plant a seed, I remember that I am still creating life." Taurus, you don't need to start over from scratch. You only need to begin from a heart that is reawakening. Don't attempt to rebuild your entire life at once. Start with a slow breath, a moment of self-care, or a forgiving glance towards yourself. From there, a new world will begin to emerge, not from external circumstances, but from the place where your heart begins to bloom again. It's not merely that you survived, it's that you are the reason stability still exists in this world. After everything you have endured, you still choose to love, to believe, and to avoid causing harm to others. This is why hope continues to thrive. Close your eyes for 5 seconds and whisper, "I'm still here." That alone is already a miracle. You will learn why God is waiting for you at the end of this journey, not with trials, but with abundance. This gift has been inscribed in your name long before your arrival on this earth, a blessing returning to you at precisely the right moment your soul once forgot. If this message resonates with you, gently write down, "I believe I was chosen." Sometimes, just a quiet belief is enough to open the next door that has been waiting for you for a long time. God is waiting for you, not to judge, but to restore what you rightfully deserve. The abundance that is about to flow into your life is not a random gift. It is an ancient promise, a sacred covenant made long before you came into this world. And now, when you feel depleted, that covenant is awakening not to reward you, but to restore you. You have chosen to provide when it would have been easier to walk away. You have sheltered others while silently weathering your own storms, and you have given even when your hands were nearly empty. The moments when you chose silence over complaint, stability over chaos, and responsibility over recognition, these acts did not go unnoticed. In that quiet space, an intricate system of the universe has been recording every vibration. In Buddhism, this is known as merit accumulation. In the Bible, it is said that those who sow in tears will reap with shouts of joy. Now, dear Taurus, this is your harvest season. Let me tell you about a Taurus man whose story may resonate with you. For 10 years, he worked in an office and always shared his lunch with a struggling co-worker. No one knew of his quiet generosity, and he never asked for anything for himself. One afternoon, on his way home, he stopped to help an elderly man who had fallen off his bicycle. Days later, a stranger arrived at his home, revealing that the elderly man was the chairman of a major corporation. Deeply moved by his unconditional kindness, the family offered him a management position he had always dreamed of. Yet, he humbly stated, "I didn't think I did anything great. I just didn't want to see someone in need." Do you see actions that may seem small, when performed with a sincere heart, echo through time? The universe, God, or whatever name you choose, misses nothing. No act of generosity is ever wasted. No sacrifice is ever silent. Everything you have ever given, even if forgotten by others, is now returning to you in unexpected ways. Stop apologizing for your steadfastness. You were not born to harden your heart. You are fertile ground, and that warmth is stronger than any armor. Your loyalty is your soul's treasure. No one can take it from you. It is a sacred code that is now unlocking a series of events where you no longer need permission to live in peace. Instead, you are being invited in. If you can place your hand over your heart and whisper gently, "I deserve to receive everything my soul has ever given." You don't need proof or validation from others. You only need to acknowledge it sincerely, and that alone is enough to make the universe tremble. However, there is one essential thing to prepare for. You must be ready to receive, not just materially, but spiritually. Sometimes, abundance arrives not through money, but through a deep, uninterrupted night's sleep, a sudden feeling of peace upon waking, or an invisible burden being lifted from your shoulders. Do not limit the form in which grace arrives. What is coming to you is far greater than you can imagine. Something will be revealed not in words, but in whispers from the other side of life. A soul you once loved is still waiting for you to hear them, still trying to send you one last message. This message may hold the key to returning to yourself. If this resonates with you, you may leave a gentle comment, symbolizing the opening of your heart. I open myself to receive God's blessing. Sometimes, that one sentence is the signal heaven has been waiting for to begin. A soul is calling your name from the other realm, and the gift they left behind can only be opened with love. Some connections never fade, even if the physical body has departed. Invisible threads still tremble between life and death, waiting for a soul still enough to listen. Dear Taurus, there is a soul, someone you love, deeply whispering your name, not to cause you pain again, but to help you feel light and live fully for the first time. You have always carried burdens, even when they weren't yours. You have held on to responsibilities that brought you weariness in the stillness of night. You have shouldered the faults of others as if to shield them, even after they have gone. But this time, they do not wish for you to carry that load any longer. They want to be the ones to heal you. In Pure Land Buddhism, this is referred to as an enemy transforming into a spiritual teacher. Souls once entangled in karma with us can become silent guides for our awakening after death. In Christianity, it is said that those who have died in the Lord still live and may still love us with eternal love. Death is not a separation. It is merely a thin veil between two worlds. When a heart continues to love, it can pierce through every layer to reach you. A Taurus viewer once shared with me, "I always feel my mother's presence in her garden. There are no words, just a familiar, warm feeling when I touch the flowers she used to plant." She held this in her heart for years, and every visit to the garden brought a quiet peace. One evening, exhausted from work, she sat down in the garden and, for the first time, spoke to her mother. "Mom, if there's anything you want me to let go of, I'm ready to listen." That night, she dreamt of her mother, who smiled, walked toward her, placed a hand on her shoulder, and said, "It's time for you to enjoy your garden." Then she turned away, as light as the wind, and for the first time in years, she woke up without a feeling of heavy responsibility. Taurus, if you have ever dreamed of someone who has passed, if you have ever sensed a familiar scent, felt a warm presence behind you in perfect silence, it may not be your imagination. It could be them still here, still watching over you. This time, they are not here to reopen old wounds. They are here to offer a gentle goodbye, one that neither of you had the chance to express. Those who have departed do not wish for you to live in regret. They do not want you to carry their burdens. They want you to transform their love into freedom for yourself, the freedom to move forward, to open your heart to new possibilities, and to forgive yourself for working so hard in the shadow of someone who is gone. You do not need to cling to past responsibilities as if they are obligations. No one who truly loves you would want your soul shackled to toil forever. The one who loves you desires your peace, wants to see you smile from within, and wishes for you to live the rest of your days without seeking their ghost in the past. Take a moment to close your eyes. If your heart suddenly stills, if a gentle warmth spreads through your chest, it may be them, the soul you thought had vanished, now present like a breath. No words are needed, only your feelings, for true love exists beyond form. If you truly hear them, please live the rest of your life as a thank you, as a way of saying, I'm okay now, and I will live for both myself and for you. If this message touched you, gently write down, I live for me and for those who are no longer here. Sometimes, simply voicing it is enough to liberate your soul from holding on to what no longer belongs in your present. Thank you for listening and for allowing your heart to soften once more in a world so accustomed to hardness. May you, steadfast Taurus, always possess enough love to forgive the past, enough courage to care for yourself, and enough stillness to hear the sacred calling of the harvest you thought was lost. Remember, nothing is ever truly lost. It is merely waiting for you to enjoy your season of reward.